Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Are we screen sharing? Yes, we are. Let's see. There we are. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And here we are. What's it? That's the dollar index. Oh, we're showing. Is that really? Yes, I guess it is. Showing some pressure on the downside. Last I looked, the thing was running up, but I guess not. Let's double check here on the bigger platform. This morning it was. At least I thought it was. Let's go check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Let's see. I saw it at 79 this morning. What, that was a couple hours ago now. 3 hours ago. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so it was up there. It was at 83, the high today. 105.83. Wasn't challenge. It didn't hit obviously the 6, but interesting. You can see it now. It is starting to really break down. Actually, did it make it into the sell yesterday? I guess it. No, just missed the sell by the hair of its chinny chin. So looks like we're going into the sell here today. That might be a sign of, oh my goodness, maybe interest rates will just stay here. It's the game of the century, I swear. Or let's put it this way: it's the game of this decade. This interest rate crazy that's going on, and there's some out there saying that maybe the Fed will get used to it with the idea of a 3%. I mean, what is it with these, I guess, bureaucratic politicians? You know, it's like Mr. Obama, President Obama, saying that when Mr. Trump won, he's going to need a magic wand to repair the economy, and the new normal is, I don't know, 1.5% GDP or something like that, something of that nature. I guess in the sense when they were saying that that was the new norm, I guess that's for the socialist type of an economy that he was pushing. But Mr. Trump went back to the capitalist system, and next thing you know, we have 5 and 6% GDP again, and incredibly historic low numbers in employment and a growing economy. And I don't know, it's like they think that one size fits all. I guess that's the socialist dream, right? The communist dream. One size will fit all. I guess they want a dynamic pair of shoes that will grow larger for a bigger foot and shrink to a smaller foot. They want a shirt and pants or a dress to do the same exact thing. In other words, let's buy just one thing and that's it. And it'll fit everybody because it will adjust. And we have a technology that can make it adjust. I guess that's what it is. I don't know. Sometimes when you hear these people say these things, like right now there's like, well, maybe the Fed will get comfortable with 3% inflation. Why would we want to get comfortable with 3% inflation? I mean, what's the logic of 3% inflation versus the logic of 1.4 inflation? You know, I just don't understand. I guess it means that the politicians can spend more money. I guess that's what it is. To me, sometimes it's just baffling when it comes to these statements. The ideas are not real. You know, it just really makes a wild drift out of it all. But anyway, as you can see, the dollar index is trying to move down, and the beta has it in a sell from yesterday. Whoop, like that right there. Oh, let's try that again. So the beta basically pushed it into the sell yesterday. There, boy, I do a bad job of trying to do. Let's try to grab the green one at the same time. Right there. It's so high up, that's what it is. There we are. And so, you know, it was above the 106 area, and then yesterday it closed at 105.76, and you can see right there the daily went into a sell. So it is 1 day in a sell on the beta. Now the weekly is obviously drifting down the same way it's doing over here. Oh, you're not seeing what I'm pointing out. Let's put that up on the screen here. There we go. And so you can see the same thing here with it curving down. I would imagine, you know, we try to make this too complicated sometimes. There is no logic in the first place for the 2%. 2%, as I looked for, is traced back to New Zealand. Okay. New Zealand Prime Minister got mad at the Reserve Bank of New Zealand and demanded a concrete target number. They came up with 2%, but the basing was loose. Afterwards, when drinking together at a central bank event, it appears it spread. Huh. That makes sense to me because I mean Trump with solid economic policies, had we had an incredibly growing economy, even when the I guess they're really finding a lot of treachery in this COVID stuff, and so Rand Paul, Dr. Rand Paul, the senator, he's a medical doctor. I think he's a eye surgeon. I think he does he's very big on doing surgery with the eyes and so forth. He's shown. He just put something out a couple days ago about 1,000 pieces of documents that showed that it was a plot. That type of thing. So these. I guess it's just an odd adventure anymore. The political structure is really crazy, and when they have these economic statistics, they really twist and turn them into different directions. Afterwards, so in the end result is, I think when Mr. Trump gets back into office, we'll see 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 on inflation again because the policies will change. That's all. I don't know, and the media refuses to accept the idea that it's policies to begin with. It's everything but policy to them. So, the spin machine will be closed. All right, let's go take a look at the euro this morning and see what the euro is up to. And the answer to that is right there. There is the euro, and it's closed in a daily buy yesterday, and it's pushing up. It's a little under for today to start. It went higher, and then now it's a little lower. They're just jumping around. Weekly's got a lot of work to do there, to get this thing even moving more. But I guess what I can really say about this whole thing is that they're starting to get a little bit more comfortable with the idea of no June rate cut. I think that's what it comes down to. Now the talk and the statistic is that we have a 60 or 55% chance in September. But I don't really think we're going to see a September rate cut. But I would imagine to keep the politicians happy, Mr. Jerome Powell, our Fed chairman, will keep on saying this stuff. In other words, he'll say it and say it and say it, but it won't happen. And so as long as he keeps on saying it, the politicians, that are into this probably will be pretty happy with that. In other words, they just want the spin. They don't really necessarily. I mean, of course, they would love to have the interest rates cut and everybody really happy all of a sudden that they're not paying, $500 more a month for this or $1,000 more a month for that type of thing. But I think what'll happen is it'll just be what we refer to as lip service. I think that's how it's really going to play out. And so by the end, so that'll probably be the end of it all. And because there's a lot of good economists that say they don't expect to see a rate cut. If nothing else, they might see a rate increase going into the following year. I mean, something of that nature, and they're basing it off the idea of, continuing, what's his name, Biden policies. And so, I could see that too. I could see a rate increase. But I don't think he's going to be around for it. Oh, you looked more at BMY. Yeah, it's like 47 and change, 48. That's I like the company. Yeah, it's yielding about 5%. Oh yeah, and if you dollar cost average into that thing over the next 6 or 7 months, or 5 months, it'll be a good thing, At least I think, when it comes to getting into the position. I mean, that's the whole idea. Is you don't just drop it into the position. There's no. Let me just respond to this text. And what else can I say? So yes, that is pretty much what it comes down to. I think it's all lip service. I don't think we can take it too serious, and I think the markets are getting comfortable with that idea. And so, here we've adjusted for the lack of a cut in June, and they always say sell in May and go away. Well, they've done some selling. We got down to 540 something. Yes, 5,000 point like 46 or something. 46. And so I know there's a lot of money managers out there saying that they're going to start reaching for stocks in the S&P 500 in the 500 area, and they'll really reach for it hard going into 4,900 and 4,800. For that reason alone, I would assume that they won't give them a chance. That's usually the way it works. It's going to take some type of new variable, war, oil, something to freak it out at this point. Let's see if we can put the picture of that up on the screen right there. We'll widen that out. And as you can see, that yesterday we were down into I guess it was that says 562. Maybe it was 562 yesterday. Let's go take a look at the intraday. That may make it easier. And there's the intraday yesterday, right? There is 556 right there towards the close of the day. I guess that's it. No, what is that? Right there. That is I knew I saw 540 something. There's 548. That was right there. There was 548. And then money started to come in. Also, I understand what's kind of curious is that I understand there was a major seller over on the NASDAQ. Let's see, do we do the NASDAQ on this short term? Let's see. I understand that there was a major seller into the NASDAQ stocks going into about that time frame, something like 10:45 Eastern Standard Time to 12 o'clock or something like that. For about an hour, they sold $18 billion worth of stock in the NASDAQ. So that was a lot of the pressure yesterday too. Let's see. This is above money market rates. So what do they do actually in the U.S.? Who's that? Bristol Myers Squibb? Oh, they're a biotech, and they are one of the top pharmaceutical companies. Manufacturing index caused a move, 15.5 instead of 1.5. When was that? Was that today? Just now? Biotech sounds shady. No. They bought. No, they're Bristol Myers is around for 100 and some odd years. Let me see how old Bristol Myers is. And then they bought Squibb. Is that what pushed the market down? Okay. And then they bought Squibb. It was a biotech, I believe. That was back in the late 80s, early 90s. They bought a biotech for like $1 billion, which everybody thought was ridiculous. Now it's worth, or maybe they paid $4 billion. And now it's probably worth, $140 billion. And so they put them together, and they're a very solid company. I think they've had some issues. It's down from $75, from the COVID thing, where they were benefiting from it all. But I don't think they got into the game there. If they did, they did it in a very simple way that didn't cost much money. But yeah, I think Bristol Myers has been around for 150 years. It's been around since like the early 19th century or early 20th century, like 1920, something like that. So let's see. I'm going to look that up. That's a good question. How old is Bristol Myers? Bristol. It used to be Bristol Myers Squibb. Bristol Myers Squibb is a global biopharmaceutical company committed to discovering, developing, and delivering innovative medicines and patents. Let's see. Bristol Myers Squibb Company doing business as Bristol Myers Squibb as an American multinational. Let's see. How old is it? Let's see. I know it's like Johnson and Johnson. How old? 150 years. For over 150 years, Bristol Myers has been committed to discovery and development. Bristol Myers Squibb, founded in 1858, has grown to be one of today's leading global pharmaceutical companies for over 150 years. Bristol Myers Squibb has been committed to discovery, all that other rubbish again. So, company history timeline. Let's see. 1819, lifetime innovation, science and medicines. Squibb's quest for purity. When I tell you the pharmaceutical or the biotech that they bought, you'll recognize it. You'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that. It was one of the very first biotechs. They came out. I think they came out with the sweetener. For coffee and drinking, stuff like that. Let's see. I'm going through the company history. Pharma product approval. Let's see. Product approval. FDA approves Bristol Laboratory. Let's see. Opens a state-of-the-art research complex in Connecticut. Let's see. Celgene, founded by David Sterling. That's it, yeah. So it was Celgene they bought. Remember Celgene? Celgene is founded by David Sterling, PhD, and Sal Baer as an independent biotech company. They bought them in 1986. And they were way ahead of everybody in biotech. And so they who knows what product line they may have slowly moving along, but yeah, that's what Celgene, Segene, I think that's what it was. I'm sorry, Celgene, Celgene. Let me see what Celgene did. Let me see, Celgene. Paste. Celgene founder. Let's see. Celgene Corporation is an American biotech company that discovers and develops commercial medicine. Okay, for cancers and inflammatory disorders. I could have sworn they might have even created the sweetener, the artificial sweetener. Sorry, Bristol Myers. Celgene company history, yeah. So Celgene, $15 billion. Let's see. So that's why I like Bristol Myers. Now, are they leaking like the rest of them? Yeah, they're all leaking at this point. At this point, I would say that the market's been up 20 and 30%. Across the board, you could say in many ways, the indices themselves over the last year and a half, 2 years, so I'd imagine that they're taking some profits. It would make sense for them to take profits. And so I would expect, that's why I say I dollar cost average into that. Will they cut their dividend? I'm not sure. I would assume because of how high it is, I don't know if they'll cut it, but let's look at some of the chatter about that. Let's see, where do I have it? Okay, let's try over here. Bristol Myers Squibb. I'm going to look to see what they think about the dividend, because that's what you're buying it for. Is you're looking for. It's going to be around for a while. You don't have to worry about that. It's not going out of business. Let's see, where are we at here? Let's see, Yahoo Finance. I'm going to go into that for dividend. Let's see. BMY. Let's see. What do they think about the dividend? Bristol Myers advanced while market declines. It was 7 days ago. In the week, in the wake of Bristol Myers Squibb's company latest 5.7 billion market cap. It's not. It's not a monster market cap, that's for sure. Let's see. What else can we look for in here? What do they say about the dividend? Search. Dividend BMY. Company holding expects earnings per share to decline in 24. Okay, that's so they're looking for a little bit pushed down. Can they afford to keep on paying that dividend? Possibly so. They're a very solid company. So, let's see. Amazon, Spy. What is your outlook for this week? I think the markets may have found a bottom in here. It all comes down to, I know that tomorrow is going to be quiet. In other words, I don't think there's a war going to break out tomorrow. So, but here we are. It's just today and tomorrow. I would say up. And obviously, we're not in buys yet, but we're getting firmer. I also listened that the 500 could be a bottom. We're not in a daily. Let's go back to the SPY. Let's see if we can get that thing on here. Where is it at? Right there. There's the SPY. I would say we got a shot to start. You can see it's curving up. We got some good curving going on, and you can see how tight the manifold has gotten. We've been in a sell for a second week. I think that's going to take a little bit more work. Israel's not going to do anything this week, I can tell you that. War, Israel announcing that they will wait out. Yeah, exactly. Is that they will wait for it to end. Exactly. They're going to wait till Passover. And then they'll bring their snakes and they'll drop billions of snakes on top of Iran. And they can eat the evil. Just like Moses did. So I would say that we'll see over the next couple days that, but I would think we start to see a little firmness in here. I saw a lot of buying. Now, there's no doubt that crazy selling that went on. I don't know about crazy, but the $18 billion are being sold in the NASDAQ market yesterday in the morning, where it drove the S&P down to 48, 5,048. I think there's a lot of buyers down there. There's a lot of underinvested people, and they need to show. That's what they're paid for. They're paid to buy. They're not paid to sell. They're paid to buy. So I would imagine we'll see strength. And even now today, you can see here on the short term. Let's just show you one of my favorite short terms. Here's my favorite short term. This is the 2,963 contract tick. Right? And that low was set right, where was it set? Right there. You know what? Let's go to the wider one. Let's push this out. That's one of my favorites. I like that. But let's take a look at this one instead. This will show it all on one screen. There it is, the 6,300. And there's that low that I was talking about right there. And they're making higher low. Now they tried to make a lower low here, but they're still not taking this one out. And it hasn't taken out this high yet of the 590s. I caught that too. That was cool. I sold 595. 5,095, yeah. I would say that they'll go sideways. I'm not sure what news do we have anything out today? In the let's see. We could go take a look at Dukascopy's calendar, but I don't think anything is out really much today. I think it's next week we start to get the noise again. So, yeah, I think that we got a shot at a bottom in here. And unless there's a big seller that comes in again this morning, we'll see how they play it. The contract is not, the Dow is moving up. It's and the S&P 500 is quieter. It's not moving up as much. So we'll see what kind of action we get out of that. But I'm looking for. Let's see, Dukascopic calendar needs an update badly. Yeah, I hear you. But I don't think anything's coming out today. So in the U.S. it'll shake things, and tomorrow is not anything that's going to shake things. And then I guess we have CPI next week, or do we already had the CPI last week? I guess we had CPI last week. Let me just take a look at the calendar real quick. Let's see, trading, Dukascopy. The calendar is right there. Where'd it go? Banking, calendar. Why is it not jumping out at me? I'm on the right. Banking. Market information. Where's the calendar? Oh, there it is. There's the calendar. Right there. There we go. Okay. All right. So today on the Dukascopy calendar, let's put it up on the screen so you can see it real quick. Right there. You can see right there. Today is, we had initial jobless claims earlier. Actual and previous, okay, 1520. So it was only 25,000 difference. Continuing jobless claims, basically calm. Initial jobless claims. And then Philadelphia Fed manufacturing was right there. I see that. Forecast 1.5. Previous 3.2. That comes out. That should have come out already too. And then let's see. After that, Bostock speaks. They just all speak at this point. They're just basically saying, don't worry about the rate increases. Doesn't look like anything really particular tomorrow. Baker Hughes on the rigs, but that's about it. Nothing really that will shake the markets up. And so then from there, I would imagine we'll see. We'll go to next week. I guess we could have looked at the calendar for next week. Oh, okay. Next, that's it. We had CPI last week. We have PCE next week. That's it. That could move things around. PMI on Tuesday, advanced GDP on Thursday. Yeah, that will make it very clear. That's basically the end of the month too. That's the thing is that when is the end of the month is Sunday maybe? No, it's Tuesday the following week. That's what it is. Okay, so yeah, that's gonna make things even more entertaining. I will be absent on Friday. Next Friday, yeah. Okay. See you on Monday. You'll be back by the end of April. See you on Monday. See you in September. Yeah, I kind of think that they want to lift this market one more time, but see how it's kind of sitting quiet. They're trying to get the sellers to sell here. They don't want to give them any money. Labor Day, and that will be. So you have May Day. May Day is May 1st. That'll be what, Wednesday, right, of the following week. We have our May Day is for the World War One, and so poppy fields and Gallipoli and all that stuff, and so that's not until the end of May. It's Memorial Day. We have Memorial Day. Labor Day is in September. Yeah, we don't do Labor Day until September. End of the summer. All right, let's get back to the currencies, unless you want to see a particular stock or something like that. We can jump back to, where's it at? Let's go like this. We should leave that up like that. That's good. And we'll just, when we go back to looking for things. All right, now let's get back to the currency. That's the euro. So the British pound was doing the same thing yesterday. It was lifting up. It got into the buy yesterday by the hair of its chinny chin and still is now, but very tight market. Not lifting too much. Weekly curve is interesting. Seeing that curve there is developing out of the weekly. But it's so oversold, you would think that it would find a way to climb back up. So if this thing starts to get up into this area here, the green, over the next week and a half, we could be jumping into the buy pretty soon again. Then we go over to the Swiss. And there's the Swiss. The Swiss is in the second day of its daily sell. Again, the interest rate differential is calming down. So they can basically calm down too with it. And then let's go over to the yen. The yen has been... yen is not willing to back off. It just keeps on climbing. And that weekly is way up. It's overbought. And... the fast algo is overbought. Both are overbought. So we'll see. We shall see. But this is starting to look a little more ominous, a little worse than I was expecting. I really thought the Bank of Japan could hold this thing in the 152 area for a while. It lasted 3 weeks and is basically choked. So we'll see. Maybe it comes back down to it and hangs out down there. They've got a lot of changes they need to do. I downloaded a story yesterday. Put that story on there. Let's see if we can put it up on there. Let's see. Let's move over. Oh, you're not even seeing this, what I'm pointing out. Let me go back to the Swiss, too. And let me go back to the cable. There's the cable right there. See, if that would climb back up in this area here, I could see that. You can see here it's still in the buy by, yesterday it went in. Let's grab this green. Went into the buy yesterday right there. Oop, get over. That's where it went into the buy. And now, same way with the Swiss. See, the Swiss is in a sell for the last 2 days, pressing down. Weekly's not backing off much, but it's pretty high up, like the way the yen is way down low. And then there is the yen. And you can see it's trying to get into a daily sell. But the weekly looks very strong there. And then let me show you the Japanese story. I thought it was very fascinating. We'll get it up on the screen because it was a little wild, where's that at? I posted it. I don't see it. Me don't see it. Let me see if I can find it this way. Let's see. Where's it? There we go. All right, there. And yeah, they were saying, why did the stock market finally, in Japan, why did it finally, after 39 years or something like that, did it get into the back to all-time highs? And then there was a long story about the whole situation in there. Basically, it's a story of stagflation. We talk about it here, and I could have sworn I posted it. That's what's so confusing. Where is it at? Next. Let's go to next. Yeah, so stagflation. They really started, looking at Japan's stagflation. And that's I thought that was interesting, and I saved it, and now I don't see it. I'll find it in a few seconds here. They say that Biden now doesn't talk about Bidenomics anymore. He stopped saying that stuff. People are getting tired of it. I just saw a headline about Bidenomics again. The KC, U.S. stocks decline, MSM. Yeah, I'm not seeing the story now. on the stagflation of Japan, but it was very interesting. Um, you know, they've been in a stagflation situation now for 39 years, and it has, the country is not really growing. It's just like the status quo, and they're borrowing constantly. Sliding sessions, gold's resilience, omens, Nasdaq, Zelensky. Nothing. I can't find it. Doesn't look like it's there anymore. They seem to have taken it down. Oop. All right. Well, we'll go back to that later on. I'll hunt around for it. It was a very good story about stagflation. It's something, you know, something worth thinking about. Because Japan is like the way the Turkish lira is. It's kind of like a live, uh, process going on in front of our faces. And sometimes people don't, people will come back and read about this years later and go, wow, I didn't realize that was going on when I was doing this or that. But stagflation in Japan, let's see if I can find it. One more chance of stagflation, and then we'll go on to, let's see, where's the search at on this thing? Okay, right there. Zero. It was in zero hedge. Stagflay. T-I-O-N. There it is. Let's see. Nope, that's back in 23. Japan enters recession with Nikkei about to hit all-time high. There you go. That's February. Lost decades. It's not jumping out. It seems like they've pulled the article or something. It's disappeared altogether. I don't see it at all. All right, we're back to the numbers. Sorry about that, traders. I just wanted to find that article, and I saved it, and it's disappeared altogether. Labor Day. How high will the yen go? That's a good question. I was looking at the yen, and I thought this would be the territory, but the stagflation story is saying basically they need to straighten out their economy. The LDP, what was it, what do they call it, the LDP something, Democratic Party, Liberal Democrat Party, has been running a socialism in China, in Japan for a long time, and it's like they downstream, and so they're, that's why they call it the $20 trillion carry trade. They owe trillions for the size of their economy, and that really hurts, and so it doesn't grow any, and it's constant stagflation. So this thing could go, I don't know. I mean, we're watching it now. As long as we're in a weekly buy, it's going higher as far as I'm concerned. We could put some Fibonacci. Let me see if we can do this, because you see it. We have a, let's see if we tighten this up. The next move would be to around 159 here, almost 160. That would be the next move up. And you could basically look at it this way, between there and here, these two, from this area to that area, and then the next one would be 171. But I don't think it's not going to go like the Turkish lira does. It's gonna go, slow and steady and grow. It won't be like a freak out like the way the Turkish lira goes from 20 to 25 in a matter of weeks sometimes, or days. So you won't see it that way. Okay, now from there, let's go over to the Turkish lira. That's a good example. Turkish lira went into a daily buy yesterday. Let's steal this one right here. And they were acting like they were trying to break down. Boy, this distortion there. Whatever they did that day did keep it chill for a couple of days, but it it didn't work, did it? Yeah, I mean, here we are. We're almost right back to where it was. Obviously, the freak out must have been the 3,600 area, 36 lira to the euro. That really freaked them out and forced them to do something dramatic. But I don't know, only, you probably see a lot more news on Turkey than I do. What did they do? See what the news was like on Turkey on the 12th, last Friday. Because they said something that made the Turkish lira dance like that. And then by the end of the day, it was down and below, and they had them convinced of something for a couple of days. You can see here they did the same crazy thing right there too, back on April 1st, was it? Yeah, April 1st. They get these wild moves. I mean, look at that. It's going from 33 to 35, and this one's like 36 to 34 and a half. I mean, it's like there's some wild moves in this product at given times. It's very thin, and this is the most liquid pairs trade of the product itself. Well, I could see, like I said, it's going to be a bumpy ride for the Turkish lira, and it's going to be a bumpy ride for the dollar yen. All right, from there we go to South African rand. It keeps on trying to get to that triangle, which is surprising in some ways and not in others. I guess we could extend that out now. Oh. Oh. There we are. And so, with this thing rising like that, normally gold would be down. But gold's not down. There is the gold. Gold is, up today. Went into the buy yesterday. It's been a real sloppy sell, incredibly. Luckily, we were in a weekly buy, so no one was playing the short side, that's for sure. Or at least if they were doing it without me, that's for sure. What else is there to say about gold? I guess that's the odd part when we go back and we look at the South African rand and then we look at gold. They're not matching up anymore. Things are that wild there in South Africa. And then from there we go over to the silver. Silver is trying to get into the buy. Trying. It's battling. It's in that weekly buy for a while. It's since, what is that, February. Beginning of February? Something like that. There's first week of February right there in the 22s. And then we drift over to copper. Copper, I think, closed in a buy again. Yeah. Closed in a buy yesterday. They're lifting it up today. I would assume, what kind of news would be making that happen is they're probably talking about lifting the, they're going to stimulate somehow or another. That's probably what they're heading for at this point. They're thinking that they're going to get some type of stimulation to their economy. So far, it hasn't really worked, but hope is eternal. So, I would imagine, what we'll see is as time goes on, is that what's the best way to describe it? I guess the best way to describe it is that just like the way they're looking at rate cuts. In other words, it's a lot of lip service. And they're not really going to do things. Now, China has tried plowing some money into their economy, but not that doing that well. Now, there is a story out there about China dumping U.S. Treasury yields, U.S. Treasuries. For the ninth month and last 11 months, China's Treasury holdings declined in February. The latest TIC data dropping about $22 billion. Additionally, it has now been 24 out of the last 28 months that China's Treasury holdings have declined, now back at practically at its lows of 2009. And we can show you a chart on that. Let's do that right there. So you see they were about 1.2 billion and now they're at 775 billion. That probably just shows, I mean, we've been watching how they've been gliding down since Mr. Biden took office. They've gone from 1.1 trillion, 1.1 trillion there as soon as Mr. Biden took office, basically, and they've sold $325 billion worth of bonds, but they're having a lot of problems over there, So I mean that's more of what I see out of it. I'm not reading too much into it. Let's put it this way: if they were really selling stuff, $22 billion is nothing in bonds in a month. It's not like the stock market where $22 billion has big effect. $22 billion. The Fed could buy those bonds from the Chinese, and barely the market wouldn't even know the difference. So that's kind of cool, And who knows what types they sold, but that is the problem. There we are. All right, now let's shoot back. That's copper. Now let's take a look at the platinum. Now platinum is feeling the same pressure too, but it's still in the weekly buy. And you see there a little pressure on it this morning. Nothing major. It's been in the sell for 3 days. This is the conundrum out of all the four metals, is that the platinum is an awful hard product to want to sell, especially with it trading at over 50%, like 60% below silver. I'm sorry, not silver, gold. When it's trading that low, it's really hard to take serious. Why anybody could sell it. Let's go over to the energy sector. There's crude oil. Crude oil's now been in a sell for 8 days now, and it's playing with the weekly sell right there. Obviously, whatever deal or whatever the Israelis do, more than likely it won't have much effect on the oil market. And even I heard that our Secretary of State told Zelensky in the Ukraine, stop bombing the energy sector in Russia. So, yeah, that's the last thing. There's talk that Biden is going to try to take more oil out of the reserves. It's going to be a tricky thing, that's for sure. And you can see here, this is the what is this? This is crude oil. You can see it's been pressured just like there on our big platform. And we go back to there. You can see the weekly, maybe we're 2 days behind on the weekly at this point. Well, that's the 17th. So we have the 18th. Today's the 18th, and we're not seeing anything yet. And so let's go to Brent. There's Brent. Brent's looking the same way. Bunch of days in the sell. There's just that one little pop on the buy side there from that. And then got the 92 and just rolled over. And now we're at 86. So we've been in the sell for 4 days here. That's 4 days. We're not seeing today's yet, but with it down like this, it's definitely not up. That's for sure. And so we're seeing 7 out of the last 8 days in a daily sell. And then from there we go to natural gas right there. Natural gas is showing some strength. Went into the buy yesterday, and it's definitely trying to move up even more today. Um, that could mean, when natural gas is shifting around like that, that means that maybe the drilling is slowing a little bit domestically here, because that's, natural gas is like an off product of hydrocarbons, of dinosaur juice, oil. So, and then we'll go take a look. No wonder we're seeing the Spanish company take off like it has, jumping up into the 23s. And it's still, that's like, what's that? That's 5 days or 6 days right there. And so probably 7 days. Yep. Look at that. Going after the 24 area. So we've been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the 7th day in a buy. And, we're, when it comes to that, we are 2 full weeks in a buy. Dun, da, da, da. All right. And so that's the energy sector right there. What else we got going on here? We can take a look at heating oil in the States is dropping. Let me just show you heating oil. I find it fascinating to watch it go down like that. Right there. This is the oil we use to heat houses and so forth. It's been dropping from the 280 area down to the 256 area. And it's piercing towards the weekly sell also. So we're seeing a lot of weakness in there. Let's go look at the world stock indices, and then we'll get out of here. We got a few minutes still. And let's go take a look at the Nikkei. Right there. Now, Nikkei was up last night. It was higher than the day before. This is the end of the week, and chances are it's because of the red dot. We're probably in the sell again for the 5th day. And we've been in a weekly sell for 4 full weeks. Then from there we go over to the Kospi. Right there. Where's the Kospi? Where's the Kospi? Where are you, Kospi? Right there. There it is. And you see that? They lifted that thing up pretty strong. I bet the sell was very close. We'll see that tomorrow. And we were 3 weeks in a sell there. So they're doing a little bottoming in there after this nice little glide down. From there, we'll go over to the Taipei. There's a Taipei index. Same thing. They're lifting that one too. And, there's 4 full days in a sell. With that type of move, if it was a green dot, I would think that the algorithm had gotten into the buy also. So you can see it's close, and the weekly is still in a buy, but holding on tight. From there, we jump over to, I think the Nifty 50 had a holiday 2 days ago. Let's see where it's at today. NE. There it is. And there's the Nifty 50, and that is today. And that's right, today's Thursday, not Friday. So you can see all those days in a sell pressing down. And it looks like it's trying to press into the weekly sell now too. But we'll see. We got one more day to go tomorrow. For some reason, it feels like a Friday. And then from there, let's go take a look at the Hang Seng. That should be up, I would imagine, since everybody else is up. Yeah, look at that. Even the algorithm from yesterday went into the buy. And so this is the 2nd day in a buy there. And I would imagine that would put a little energy into the copper market. From there, we go over to the All Ordinaries. And that kind of, look at that. 5 days in a sell, looks like to me, because of that red dot there. So it's just pressing down. And the weekly's been 3 weeks in a sell. I would think there might be a good dead cat bounce hiding out there for the stock market, but I don't think it's going to go like at light speed. I think it's just going to grind up more than anything else. I don't really see it like, there might be a little panic, where the Dow goes up 300 points or something like that. It's not exactly, 300 points is not even a 1 full percentage point. That's the thing. We kind of get excited about numbers that don't mean much anymore. Now, when you have a 7% move, then you're starting to pay attention to something. At least 3.5% move, half of it. From there, we go over to the DAX. Let's see what the DAX is this morning. There's the DAX. Many weeks in a sell, couple weeks in a sell. A lot of pressure on that product. And today it's not. It's up just a little bit, but not much. Let's take a look at the CAC 40 in Paris. I understand they're breaking ground for the Olympics. They're finishing off the Olympics at this point. Summer Olympics is there. And you can see there's a second day in a buy. So this is the second day now in a buy there. And you can see the weekly sell though. So we're caught in that situation where the longer term money is not interested, but the short term money is. And then we'll go to, here's Bristol Myers Squibb. That's right, we put that up on there. 4 weeks in a sell. Bristol Myers Squibb coming down from the 54-55 area. It's been one consistent slide. What is that? That's 3, that's 6. Then a day in a buy. And then there's 3, that's 6. So 13 out of the last 14 days it's been in a sell. Nice read. Good math. All right. From the CAC 40, we'll go take a look at the FTSE. There's the FTSE. The FTSE was flirting with all-time highs 4 days ago. And so we are now, this is the third day in a sell. And you can see it's flirting with the weekly sell as we speak. All right. From there, what do we do from there? Let's see now. What do we do from there? All right. The U.S. Let's take a look at that. There's the VIX. Just going to throw you the VIX in there. It's starting to back off a little bit today. You can see it's flirting. Yesterday it started to flirt with the sell. It's still in a weekly buy. And then let's give you the S&P 500. There's SPY right there. See if that's filling in. There it is right there. That's yesterday. That's yesterday, not today yet. And let's take a look at the futures, and then we're out of here. Right there, it's higher, but still in the sell. Same thing here, 3 weeks in the sell. So, all right, traders, we're out of here. We'll catch you all tomorrow on Friday, TGIF. So this is Doc from North America saying, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later,